Hello aspirants, welcome to the show, The Focus Line. Today's focus line is the Election Commission of India. Because of the last few days, in fact in one last week, the leader of opposition put some serious allegation on the Election Commission of India, and it put Election Commission's integrity, credibility and neutrality in the question. And in this backdrop, we are going to discuss what are the historical development and constitutional provision related to the Election Commission, also what are the major issues and the way forward. So in way forward, we'll see what are the committee recommendations, Supreme Court direction. So all these things, the important things, the aspects related to Election Commission of India, we are going to discuss in this session. So before starting discussion, we'll briefly see what are the constitutional provision related to Election Commission of India. When it comes to constitutional provision, Article 324 to Article 329. This article deals with the Election Commission. Here, the Election Commission get the powers to conduct election for the election of president, vice president, parliament, state legislature. So here, and these all the powers, the functions of Election Commission governed through these articles. And these particular articles put in the part 15 of the Constitution. So this is the important constitutional provision. Also through this provision, the President of India who is sole authority to appoint election commissioners, including Chief Election Commissioner. And also the one more catch is there, the President of India, according to Constitution, he or she is the person who will decide the tenure, service condition and other thing related to election commissioner, chief election commissioner and election commissioner. And these all the powers you will get through the law or the law that passed by the parliament. So this is the basic provision that we need to know. And also the one more fact, chief election commissioner and other election commissioner will have the equal power. And when the Election Commission function as a multi-member body, that time the Chief Election Commissioner preside as a chairman of the commission. So these are the constitutional provision. Now we'll see the what are the how the Election Commission evolved. We'll see from it as lens of statutory provisions and also through the case laws. So the Election Commission, if you know, it established on 25th January 1950, and this particular day now celebrated as National Voters Day. So UPSC has the audacity to ask kind of questions. So to be on safer side, we should know this fact. Also, the first election commissioner was the Sukumar Sen. Just to know, to keep in mind. Then the next major legal development happened in 1989, where government passed Election Commission Amendment Act, where this act made Election Commission multi-member body. So this development came under the backdrop of the voting age that previously it was 21 years. The government brought it to 18 through the Constitutional Amendment Act. Now let me know in comment section which was the Constitutional Amendment Act that brought the voting age to 18. Also this particular act, that in Election Commission Act 1989, it created post of election commissioners. So previously it was working as a single member body, it became multi-member body. So the post was the Chief Election Commissioner plus the Election Commission. So this is the nature that Election Commission got. The next development, legal development, came in 1991, where the government passed Election Commission Condition of Service and Transaction of Business Act. So through this act, government decided the tenure that will be 6 years or 65 age of 65, whichever is earlier, that will be the tenure of Chief Election Commissioner, including Election Commission. So after the tenure, it is also decided service condition of the Election Commissioner. So service condition that currently Supreme Court judge enjoys. So this was the development came in the legal development came in 1991. Second, the legal development came in 1993, where government appointed Chief Election Commissioner and 2 Election Commission. So actually this time it got become the 3-member body. Still now it is working as 3-member body. And this was the particular era is very significant because from 1990 to 96, this is the era of the former election commissioner, that is TN session. So numerous electoral reforms came during this period, and all the credit given to the former election commissioner TN session. So after this 1993, the significant legal development happened in present year, that is in 2023, where government passed one bill, crucial bill called Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners appointment, tenure and condition of service act. So this particular act is very crucial because it established selection committee consisting of prime minister, leader of opposition and the union minister that will be nominated by the prime minister. And this is crucial because it came in backdrop of Supreme Court's judgment that we'll see in the case when we see the evaluation of election commissioner through the case laws. Second, it also established search committee, and this is headed by the law minister. And to help him, there would be 2 members who will be our secretary to Government of India. Also, it decided tenure, which kept as it is, that is 6 years or age of 65 years. Also, there is one condition here: Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioner, they are not eligible for reappointment. So, but Election Commissioner can become Chief Election Commissioner, but the total service should not be more than 6 years. This is the one catch here. Also, apart from this, the government, the condition of service that kept as it is, that is equal to Judge of Supreme Court. So these are the development, and this particular the act came into widely criticized because of the it gave government wider power to appoint the election commissioners, because it is omitted the Chief Justice of India, which Supreme Court suggested in Anoop Baranwal case. So we'll see the now what are the major case laws that concern with the election commissions. So first was the came in 1978. It was the Mohinder Singh versus Election Commission of India. So in this particular case, Supreme Court interpreted Article 324, which gives the election commission power to superintend election, and this power to superintend, Supreme Court said it is wide. How it is wide? Because even there is any law that explicitly not conferring certain power on election commission, then still it is considered valid. The election commission exerted power under the any law which not give explicit power to commission. Still that power, the function or the act done by the election commission considered valid when it is done to keep in mind free and fair election. Okay, so to conduct free and fair election, Supreme Court, the Chief Election Commission has the wider power. Even there is no law which conferring power, still Election Commission can take any action in order to conduct free and fair election. So this is the one first major legal case law that came with respect to Election Commission. Second, the measure came in 2002. It is widely known as case of ADR, that is Association for Democratic Reforms versus Union of India. In this case, Supreme Court said that voters have right to know the background of candidates. What background? The related to education qualification, their criminal records, and also about their asset. So all these records should be kept in public platforms so the voters can know about their candidate. So this is the one measure. After that, another came in 2013 in the PUCL versus Union of India. So in this case, the Supreme Court gave the nota power. It directed Election Commission to include the nota option, that is none of the above, into the EVM machine. So the candidate, if they are not willing to choose any candidate given by the party or any independent candidate, they can go for this option, and they also can exercise their constitutional right, that is the right to vote. And the most important development that came and to null that particular judgment, government brought this bill. That was the in 2023, the significant case, the considered landmark case called Anoop Baranwal, where Supreme Court appointed selection committee, and this committee will consist of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, and Chief Justice of India. So this person would be neutral member. But the government, to null this judgment, and also because the Supreme Court itself directed government to bring law to enforce this particular provision, but the government came with a law, and that what they did, they eliminated Chief Justice of India and they added Union Minister will be nominated by this Prime Minister. And what is led? It is the biased in appointment procedure. So, and this is the major reason why we are seeing this political development. It's not political development. Whatever is happening, it is putting democracy in the threat. So this is the major judgment came, and also the government, to null this judgment, brought this particular act. Now we have seen about what are the constitutional, the legal development happened, and how the election commission evolved. Through the case laws also we have seen how the election commission law evolved. So now from the perspective what is going currently in the political and also the constitutional setup, that election commission's credibility, its neutrality is in the question, and this question is raised because of the issues, and these issues are not today's. These are the evergreen issues since the inception of election commission. So first the issue is the just we have to biased appointment. Why biased appointment? Because of the selection committee, which gave the unilateral power to government. So the government or the ruling party can appoint the person who favors them. And also there is one crucial catch here in that particular act. If the office of leader of opposition is vacant, then still the government can proceed with remaining two members. So if the leader of opposition is not there, then Prime Minister and the Union Minister appointed by the Prime Minister. So these two person can appoint the recommend the president to particular person for the office of Chief Election Commissioner or Election Commission. So this is the creating biasness, and also it is detrimental for the survival of democracy itself. Second issue that Election Commission is facing, that is the finance related. Because if you see the other constitutional body, there the expenditure is charged on constitutional fund of consolidated fund of India, but Election Commission's finance or expenditure is not charged on consolidated fund of India. It have to depend on government. It has to depend on government. So whatever the finance, the provision for expenditure it gets to Ministry of Home Affairs. So through in budget, the government gives certain finance as the provisions, the monetary provisions to Ministry of Home Affairs, and that will be given to the Election Commission of India. Most important, another important issue is that post office benefits. So this is another crucial issue because considering the perks they will get after after the end of their service condition and throughout their service time, if they concurrent with ruling party or the government, they will give certain perks, that post retirement benefits. And to keep in the mind, they will the neutrality of the Election Commission is in the question because of this particular aspect. Another important issue is related to the conflict between constitutional and legal power. How it is constitutional and legal power? Because particular Representation of People's Act, it gives the power to Election Commission to recognize party. So it has power to recognize party, but not have power to de-recognize party. So this is the conflict comes here. Also, so this Representation for People Act, it obliges the governor or president to consult with Election Commission before disqualifying any member. But same when it comes to constitutional, that is Anti-Defection Law, Anti-Defection Act, it don't give such power to speaker, or it don't put any obligation on speaker. So speaker can unilaterally disqualify any member. It is not under obligation to consult with election commissioner and take its opinion. So this is the major uh, issue it has. Also, when it comes to the service condition and tenure related, the major challenge, because Supreme Court itself noted that from 2004 there is no election commissioner or no chief election commissioner who has completed their 6-year tenure. So this is again the question. So they are not getting enough time to bring the electoral reforms or take the steps to make the election commission an independent body. So this is the one more challenge. Another issue that comes in the election commissioner the nowadays facing because of the technology, that is to social media. Because even if you see the if you see the procedure of conducting election, before the 48 hours there would be silent period. So not any party not allowed to do campaigning. But through the social media we see the rampant campaigning done by all the political parties. So their election commission is facing particular problem. Also, when it comes to hate speech, that in political rallies campaigning the hate speech can be controlled, also can be the curtail. But when it comes to social media, there is rampant violation of these particular guidelines. So hate speech throughout the social media, we see the social media filled with the hate speech. So it is also posing the crucial challenge to in front of election commission. Another important issue is that election commission is become toothless body. Why toothless body? Because it don't have power to recognize political parties. Plus, in addition to this, when it comes to model code of conduct, it don't have power to enforce it. It need to rely on the other legal provisions that have. The model code of conduct don't have legal backing. So that's why the election commission, it's become toothless body. Also, if you see the current why the election commission is under question, because of the frauds happened in the voter list, and this is because of the election commission don't have the permanent staff. They need to rely on deputation because of not having the permanent secretariat or the staff. So the government officials, they deputed during election times, and they will responsible to prepare the voter list, also the conduct of election. And this is putting the election commission's independent in the question. Also, it is not giving the election commission enough independence while conducting the election. So these are the major issues that related to election commission. So now next we'll see what are the way forwards that it is suggested by the Supreme Court judgment. Also it is came from the various committee recommendation. Also we'll see what are the best practices are there in world. So when it comes to way forward, first is the amendment to constitution. And what need to do? First is the expenditure of election commission must be charged on consolidated fund of India. So election commission can have the financial independence. Second, the measure is that selection committee. Though government has established selection committee, but in order to respect the spirit of the judgment in Anoop Baranwal case, there should be one neutral member. So election commission can work as an independent body, free from the government ruling party interference. Second important that reform need is that permanent secretariat. So the election commission will not be relied on the government official or the deputed officer, so they can conduct the election in free and fair manner. Third important way forward would be related to appointment procedure. So we have seen about having the neutrality member. Now we'll see what are the best practice in USA and UK. When the election commissioner is appointed, they need to take the consent of, in case of USA, there is consent of Senate, and UK House of Commons. In following this aspect, we can take the consent of Rajya Sabha. Why Rajya Sabha? Because the election commission is responsible for conducting election for parliament and state legislature, and the Rajya Sabha represent the state. So if they give this power to Rajya Sabha, then there will be it is by de facto the state recognition or state concurrence will get. So these are the major reforms that currently we need to bring in election commission. Also, the other significant reforms that need is the legal status to model code of conduct. So election commission can free to enforce it. Okay, so this is the one more reform that need in election commission. So apart from this, one more is that equal protection to election commissioners and chief election commissioner. So if you see the how the service the protection get by the chief election commissioner, he or she want in order to get removed or impeached, they need to be follow the procedure that is the procedure given for the Supreme Court judge. So he can be impeached through the parliament. But when it comes to election commissioner, these people can be impeached with the recommendation of chief election commissioner. So this keeping the their neutrality in question. So whatever the election commissioner will tell, they need to hear it unless he has the weapon to recommend removal of them. So these are the crucial legal reforms are need of the hour in order to conduct free and fair elections. Also, the preserve the base and foundation of the democracy. Also, we know there are the four pillars. One is the executive, legislative, and judiciary. Fourth, consider media. Nowadays, the election commission is become the fifth pillar of the democracy because when it comes to constitutional democracy and electoral democracy, it plays crucial role by conducting free and fair election. So to keep uphold this in spirit and substance, the election commission neutrality and its credibility is must. So we'll finish this discussion. Thank you very much.